On the stripper's pole, laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. He ain't no Saint Germain, no crown, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Caught in a rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Caught in a rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Caught in a rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. Spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole.
All right, welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole, and I'm here with Taj to Gender Gill, and we are just waiting for Max Spiers' family to join us. I believe we have Vanessa and Abby and Jack Joyce. Max's son will be joining us here shortly. So, how are you doing today, Taj?
Yeah, I'm good. Looking forward to the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a long one yesterday, so we covered a lot. We covered a lot yesterday.
Right. I was wondering. We have started. So, and here we have a couple of people in the chat. We have DC Dune, Holly Baglio is here, and Seren is here. Hey, you guys! Welcome to the show.
Is my camera off?
Oh, that's okay. I'm glad to see you guys here. So on the left we have Jack Joyce. You know, it's really interesting that you have the same last name that I do.
Yeah, I was talking about that with my mum today. It's crazy coincidence.
Yeah, it is a crazy coincidence. Now it's Joyce really isn't my last name. I made it like a stage name because
okay.
Yeah, my mother's first name is Joyce.
Right.
And so I thought,
Great name.
Yeah, it is a great name. Yeah, it's got literary significance. So the last name Joyce, is that from your stepdad, or is that a stepdad, or how did you get that name?
No, it's just my mother's maiden name.
Oh, so it is your mother's maiden name. Oh, yeah. And then, is it fun to like go JJ, like you're like here as your initial JJ? Yeah.
I like JJ.
Yeah, it's a great name. So what do you do for a living, Jack?
Well, I work in a warehouse at the moment, so not too exciting about it. It's all right.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe a warehouse. It sounds like it may not be. What kind of warehouse is it? What kind of warehouse?
Industrial, on an industrial estate.
Oh, okay. So you guys got back from paying respects to Max. Did you go out? Yeah. Would you like? Are you willing to share a little bit about what that was like?
Well, Vanessa will be able to talk more about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No. I mean, today I went with Josh and Richard, who is the Enigma, and then we came back, and Nicola and Jack are here. So Jack goes pretty regularly, but today he was working and came back here, so we went and checked the grave. Yeah, it's a very strange thing.
Yeah.
10 years is a long time. This one's Jack has changed incredibly in those 10 years. Can you imagine?
Yeah, because Jack, you were what, 17 when you lost your father?
19.
19.
19.
And so, yeah, that must have been, I mean, I can't even imagine being so young.
It was it was a confusing time, to be honest. And we had just sort of gotten back to a perfect place as a father and son, and then it was taken away, so it's awful.
How old was Max when you were born?
I want to say 20, but
Nicola? We think he was
19.
Nicola's in the background. That's the mum. She says 19.
19. So your parents were young parents.
Yes.
Which is, my mom had me at 20, and so I kind of have a little bit of an insight on what it's like to have to start a family at that young age. Yeah. So what are some of your first in terms of your father? What are some childhood memories that you would like to share with us growing up with him?
Well, obviously, I was born in America when my mum and dad were in America, and we had this huge pool that I would just circle it over and over again with a little pink shopping trolley for no reason whatsoever, and I remember that fondly. And that's basically all I remember from being in America. I think we left when I was 3 or 4, so 4. So,
do you know why were you in America at that time with your father?
I believe it was a sort of elongated trip or holiday.
Yeah.
That turned into me.
And was he, because I'm assuming at some point in your childhood that Max was no longer maybe with your mom or in the house, or at what age did that split happen for you?
Well, when we left America, my mom and I left, and Max stayed in America.
Okay.
So, and then I didn't see him again. Oh, he wrote to me a lot, but I didn't see him again for about 9 years. And then that was at Vanessa's mum's funeral, which was a surreal experience. I remember me and Max were sitting in a pub, and we were just kind of getting given a chance to speak one-to-one. And I remember needing to pee every 5 minutes because I was so nervous, and I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then after that was he when I was 17, he came to my hometown, and it was just sort of this beautiful reunion, and I really felt that he was committing himself to me as my dad again, and then we saw each other all the time, and it was great, and I'm at least happy that I got that.
Were you aware of him at that time, that he was as popular as he was, let's say, online?
Not really.
Yeah.
No. No, he didn't really talk. I mean, he didn't brag about it or anything like that. He was more focused on trying to rekindle our relationship, I think.
Did he ever share with you his ideas about his
Yeah.
spirituality or what he
Yes,
thought? Yeah.
Not too much in detail. I mean, because I was only 17,
Mhm.
and I think I don't know. He told me bits and pieces, but not. I wasn't really involved in that area too much.
So what was it like? Because you know, he was your father. He was a young father.
Mhm.
There was, you know, like a separation at that, you know, from childhood, you know, relationships. You know, it's not uncommon to like have not see one of your parents for a lot of your life, or to
Yeah.
have another parent come in. But you know, your dad, during the circumstances of what happened, there was a reconciliation that happened, and it felt like moving forward, then you lost him.
Mhm.
Have you spent time looking at his stuff online?
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
everything, and learning about your dad in the ways that you did not know?
Yeah.
And what are some thoughts that you have about that? You know,
I mean, I think he has a lot of interesting ideas, and I think his sort of wanting to unearth some of the corruption that's happening in the world is admirable. And you know, I don't want to say too much, but I'm a fan.
That's it. Yeah, you're a fan of your dad. Yeah. It's like, I had no idea he was a rock star. He was just someone that came over. Okay, never mind. I'll stop. Is there anything like going forward? I mean, sharing with your audience, this audience that's tuning in today, is there anything that you'd like to share with your dad? Something that maybe other people might not know about him?
I don't. I mean,
What did you learn about him?
what was that? What was that TV show that he really, really loved? Bizarre TV show.
Oh God, which one?
The one with Noel Fielding in it.
Matt, you know Noel Fielding.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
That's it. He was a huge fan of the Mighty Boosh, which is the most bizarre TV show you will ever watch. But it fits Max's personality perfectly.
Okay, it's called what? The Mighty Bush?
Mighty
Boosh.
Boosh. Yeah, it's like a
Boosh.
really sense of humour type comedy.
BOOSH.
Oh.
I'm not sure Americans would get it, but yeah.
It's like Americans are like, here I am an American going, what? What did you just say? I don't even like. I can't even.
Sorry,
So I mean, what was that series like? Tell us, like, what was that? What was the main character? What's the plot line?
Honestly, it's impossible to explain.
Oh, it's like our Seinfeld. You know, it's like a show about nothing.
No, but it's a show about everything, but it's so bizarre that it is nothing. Yeah.
Huh. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah.
It won't be the Seinfeld everything about nothing. It will be very. If it's English, it will be very bizarre, and I don't even know it.
Yeah.
But I know the English stuff. Yes.
You know, I have to say there's something about English humor, and you know where you guys go. It is kind of bizarre, and you know I have to.
To an American, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, no, I didn't mean that. I know. Yeah.
I like it. I like bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have to say that Monty Python, like when I think I saw Monty Python, The Holy Grail when I was 12.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
it's the only movie that my mother ever when I was growing up. We watched movies and there was no censorship, and she regrets that now. But we saw, the Holy Grail, right? And my mom is the only movie I remember her walking out on. There was this one scene where they were asking the characters sexual questions, and I asked my mom, "What was that?" And my mom goes, "That's it. This is disgusting. We're getting out of here." And I thought that movie was so funny that I tormented her. I'd go, "Mom, I'm not dead yet." And my mom, I go, "That was so funny, wasn't it?" And and then she just go, I don't know. It did something to my brain, I think.
We don't shy away from, being a little bit vulgar or being,
Right. Yeah. The British, the C word is just like part of the normal vernacular. I dated this guy from England. He was a physicist, and he was at the party, and he was just calling people this and that, the C word, this, Americans were so offensive. They're like, "Oh my God, he's disgusting," and I just got the big stick out of it.
It has a double meaning. So you can call someone the C word and it be an awful thing, and you can call someone the C word and it can be endearing.
Yes.
So it's just about tonality and context.
Yes.
Actually, I didn't know that. Okay.
You didn't know that, did you, Terry?
No. And so let's say it's in a pleasant context. How would you use the word?
You want me to say it?
Yeah, go ahead. It's okay.
Go on, Jack.
Say it.
I mean, you got me on the spot here.
Just say it friendly to me.
Oh, yeah.
See, he said it quietly, but he was being friendly.
Yeah, it's the tone and, of course, the context.
Okay. I've always wanted to go to England. I'm coming there someday, and I've always felt like I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
You guys liked Bill Hicks before America did. You accept some of our entertainers before we accept them over here. Like Jimi Hendrix was big.
Right.
Over here. Yeah. Like you guys know what's good sometimes before we do. Well, I want to thank you for being here. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us today on Not My Rabbit Hole about your dad?
So these two, Terry, are cousins. Isn't this amazing?
Oh, you guys are cousins.
Yeah, they're cousins.
That makes
yeah, they're cousins. There's a big age gap, but they're cousins, all right.
All right, not too big.
Not too big. No, Jack's still young.
Yeah, Jack, you're 27, right?
29.
29. Oh, almost 30. Ooh. Almost 30.
Yeah.
The last year of your 20s. Oh, God. I'd give anything to be 29 again. Well, not anything, but.
No.
You say no, Vanessa?
Really?
I say no.
You say no?
Sure. Oh, I say no 100%. Not even 99%.
Well, what age would you go back to?
And go back at all.
You wouldn't?
No.
Really?
No, I wouldn't go back. No. Done it. Been there, done it. Got the T-shirt, right, Terry?
I can understand that.
There is something to like being older. I think that
sure.
That you're like. It's the other day I got on the bus. I think you shared something online, and I was thinking about it where I that first part of the bus, the first seats, and I'm like I'm not feeling guilty sitting down here. I'm definitely old now.
Yes, that's right.
I don't think I should have to walk to the back.
No, that's right. That's right.
I think you just kind of.
You know what the big thing is? This is my last comment, and I'm going to leave it at this. Is that I can say what I want to say, and nobody it doesn't matter what anybody else
Mm.
says. This is what I think. Nobody's going to pick on me after the show's over. And if they do, they've picked on the wrong person.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's my ending. Now, these two, Jack might have a last word about Max.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for putting this together, and
Oh.
to everyone listening, it means a lot, really, truly. The fact that my dad had an impact as big as he did is it warms my heart. So thank you.
That's lovely.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that, and I appreciate that you appreciate this. So, yeah, he did have a big impact on people, and I feel it's wonderful that you have given of yourself to kind of give an insight of him as well, for everybody, because
Yeah, I'm sure he is a bit of a question mark to a lot of people. So a bit of insight is nice.
Yeah. Well, also the you I don't know. I think we have with this media, when people talk about people, you do interviews, we forget about the human aspect of somebody. Like, who was that person really? What was the good side? You guys loved him. I think it's good to have that out there.
The human side.
Yeah, because what are we really anyways? It's just people, trying to get by in the world.
You're right.
Yeah. So, and Abby reminds me of a little bit of Christina Ricci for some reason.
There you go.
Have you ever gotten that before?
I don't know.
Christina Ricci.
Oh, yeah, I've been told that a few times.
Really? Okay, yeah.
So have you got a last thought about Max or Jack? These two are close. There may be a big age gap, but they're actually very close.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts about today? And
I think I don't.
I mean, you don't.
I'm just. I mean, I think it's really, again, what Jack said. I agree with what he said. I think it's a really good thing that you put this together, and I think it's good that people are just here and just remembering him.
Thank you. Well, I don't want to take too much more of you guys' time today, because I know that you're still with family and, remembering him and coming together. One last question before we go. Who is Richard the Enigma?
That's a childhood friend of Max's.
Okay.
He's just very not talkative.
Okay.
Shy.
But you guys speak of him. So
well, he was here, but he left.
Okay. Richard the Enigma.
Yeah, and you'll forever know him as Richard the Enigma.
Why do you guys call him that? The Enigma?
I think Vanessa calls him that just because he's he's there and then he's gone, and he just doesn't really want to talk.
Right. Well, some people I can respect that.
Yeah. I think it's really hard for him to relive the memories and stuff. So
yeah, but he's still around you guys. I mean, is he like a regular friend of the family still?
I mean, yeah.
We don't really see him that much, but he's still
he's around. He hasn't completely disappeared. He's here when he needs to be here, and he cares.
Okay, yeah, of course. So what are you guys going to do for the rest of today?
I think just have a couple more drinks, have some laughs, have some chats about Max and stories. And
what are you drinking?
at the moment, I think rosé.
A rosé?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was wondering if that was a beer. When you went to the pub with Max that one time, what was? Do you recall the name of the pub or?
It was in Broadstairs. I do not
Uh-huh.
remember the name of the pub. No.
And was it? Were you drinking what beer?
Well, I was 13 at the time. So
oh, you were 13. Yeah.
I mean, technically, he could have bought me a beer, but no, he didn't.
What is the drinking age in?
Well, like, I think for an adult, if you're with a parental guardian,
16.
I think it's lower than that. I think it's like 12.
I think.
Oh no, really?
You're having a
Like,
meal in a pub.
But I think it has to be a low percentage, like cider or something.
Yeah, because I'm 16, I could technically have like a drink with my food if I'm with adults.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong about that 12 thing. I'm not sure.
That's pretty yeah. Oh,
That's pretty wild.
I'll take a shot at tequila. Thanks. I remember when, like, my parents, even though it's 21 here, but I remember my parents sometimes, like, when we would have family gatherings, my grandmother would pour me a glass of wine or something. I mean, it was acceptable if I drank. I was allowed to drink with the family a little bit
in moderation.
Private. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, but I guess maybe fortunately and later, but I used to look really like not my age. So like, even when I was like 20 or 21, there's no way that it was very hard for me to slip into a bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was definitely like carded,
Yeah.
Like I one time, even on my 50th birthday, I still got my right. I think what it was is that my driver's license was like expired. And,
we'll take it as a compliment, right?
Yeah, they go, I don't know if I should give you a drink. I was in this little tiny town, and this guy goes, give her a break. It's her birthday. She's 50. I'd be like,
eventually that would get annoying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but now they don't do it. Now they just look at me and they go, yeah, here's how they just pour it. Like, you look like you need a glass of wine here, So, well, anyway, I guess maybe I should like say goodbye to you guys. I know it's about a half an hour. We're close to half an hour, and I know you guys have other things to do. But I really did enjoy having you on the show today, and you too, Abby. And
I enjoyed it too.
Fantastic.
Thank you, both of you.
Okay, and so maybe let's see. Okay, there's some comments in here. All right. Well, I'll say goodbye. Okay. Hopefully, have a great time with the rest of your life. If we never meet again, that's probably awkward to say, but
sure we'll talk again.
I hope so.
Right,
bye.
Take care.
Okay. See ya. Bye.
All right. So that was really fun. Actually, I had fun. I don't know about you guys, about you, Taj, but. Did you have fun? What are you drinking?
Just Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. Okay. Yeah, I'm just having water. All right. Why don't we take a real quick break and come back, and we're going to discuss for the rest of the show some of the things that were talked about later on after Max's passing, some of the conspiracies. Some of us, we ended the last show with Sandra DeRoy, so we're going to go back and recap what we talked about on the last show, and then go into more of our details. And we will be right back after this little quick song.
Their darkest little secret, the one they buried under manipulation and mind games. And now they wonder why you're not the same. You refuse to play their game. Come on, baby, light my flame. Oh wait, I already lit the switch. And look at you twitching light. Light. Putting up your last fight. You're
essence.
Whatever you want to call that raw power that makes you different from the rest. Let it out and be your best. Remember how drained you felt after spending time with them, and you came home empty? They thought you were a lamb while they laughed like Pan. They're what they call soul vampires. They identified that spark in you, and now they are out of the dark, and now they wonder why you're not the same. You refuse to play their game. Come on, baby, light my flame. Soul vampires.
Soul vampires.
You have no one else to blame. Welcome to the new game. I'm telling you, they were livestock, a lamb, while they laughed like Pan. Composed notes that would keep you in line, but you can't do that to the sublime. You lost your mind, and now you're blind.
Never mind.
You have the spark, and now they're out of the dark.
All right, welcome back to Not My Rabbit Hole. I'm here with Taj, and we're going to discuss some of the stuff that happened surrounding the details of Max Spiers' death. What do you think about like yesterday's marathon show? How yesterday we covered a lot of ground.
I think we covered pretty much everything that we wanted to. Yeah, there's a few other things. Probably, yeah, this is probably the best show. The stuff that happened after Max passed away. But everything that happened on the day and the time leading up to him passing, I think we covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
That we wanted to go away. Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that your, the screenshots that you showed me, they really gave a narrative, or they filled in the blanks, or gave a backstory of like, what really took place, what really was happening between Max and Sarah's relationship at that time. And, Monica Duvall, Alec, Alexander, the filmmaker, or I think he was I feel like he was a filmmaker, but he was he had his channel. He was the host of the last interviews that he did of Max.
I think if anything yesterday left. I think anything yesterday left more questions than answers, unfortunately. But that's mostly down to the fact that Monica will not speak publicly about anything, and I don't think that's ever going to change. So, as far as questions about what happened the day he died, we will never know unless she speaks up about it. We can only.
You feel that it's really based on Monica's testimony and coming forward and saying what happened in terms of like being able to fill those answers.
The questions we had 10 years ago, we still have those same questions.
Right.
So, the only person who can answer them, the only person who was there, is Monica. So, we can talk about what happened after and everything, but again, a lot of that is down to Monica not speaking. It was bringing up more questions that only she would be able to answer. So, yeah, again, I don't think Monica will open up about what happened that day.
Not after 10 years, probably. I mean, it doesn't seem likely that she would come forward. I think the main things that people have questions about is, for me, it's the cell phone and it's the computer being wiped. Like, I could almost, if that wasn't there, I mean, well, also the strange circumstances and the fact that they put him in a suit and all this kind of stuff, and
the SIM card in the book.
The SIM card in the book. I mean,
why did Monica send that? Only she can answer that. So
yeah.
It's
what part of this do you think, I mean, in terms of like some of the conversations of it being he was outing Satanists and people of celebrities and stuff like this that may have been like involved with, let's say, crossing over to Jeffrey Epstein stuff. I'm just using that as an analogy. But, the discussions of the adrenochrome and things like this. What do you think? What element of any of that do you think might be? Do you think that that's why his computer was wiped, or do you think it was wiped because of a different reason?
again, this is all conspiracy stuff. I heard at
Right.
the time
It
that
is.
he was going to name names, as in celebrities who were involved in that similar sort of stuff. And I believe one of those people was George Michael, who died 5 months after Max died at the end of 2016.
Why do you believe that? Or why do you, let me rephrase it. Why did people believe that? Or where did that come from?
I can't remember where it came from, but I do remember a lot of questions around Christmas of 2016 when George Michael passed away. It was either Christmas Day or Boxing Day, and Max's name came up again, and someone posted about, oh, maybe they believed that George Michael may have been involved because of his past. He may have been involved in that kind of thing, same for Epstein sort of thing. I find that hard to believe myself. And also the circumstances of George Michael's death was also very, a lot of people believed that he had AIDS and he died of AIDS. But the circumstances of his death was also a bit strange. That nobody knew that he was sick or that he wasn't well. Then all of a sudden he's dead. And a lot of celebrities, if they have cancer or whatever, they don't want to publicize it. They just want to be left in peace. And maybe that was the case. They don't want to be the press on their door every single day. So maybe he just wanted to die in peace. He knew he was dying and just wanted to die in peace kind of thing. But again, this all goes into conspiracy stuff. People want to make up conspiracies about a lot of things, and there's so much stuff going around after Max passed away. Everything from, I heard someone spotted him in Greece or somewhere, or Cyprus. Someone said, oh, I saw Max in Cyprus, or and I thought, what, really? And this kind of stuff. Or other people said, oh, he's okay, he's on Mars. He's in thinking about this stuff again, like oh, okay, don't worry, Max is on Mars. Okay, so don't worry about it, But
well, there was a flurry. I remember, like, after he died, there was just all these videos of one guy, I think it was like Jay something. He would be like, going off. He was wearing overalls and doing videos about how he was seeing visions.
Oh, Jay Essex. You're talking about
yeah. Just
he's still
on
around,
and on.
I think
Is he?
Yeah, he doesn't look too well, but
I feel like I keep seeing videos where he's like, I'm dying. I only have a few
he's been saying
days.
that for 10 years.
Right.
10 years he's dying.
But he's like living longer than most people. Like,
I know, he's a very strange character.
Who is he exactly? Like, I mean, like, is he a psychic? Like, what's his deal, that guy?
I'm not sure. I think he's what you might call like a starseed, like older, one of the first starseeds, I guess you would say. So, but he has, he talks about channeling, and I think he did speak about Max. I can't remember what exactly he said about Max, but he was speaking to Max on the other side. He's, there's so many people who have claimed to have channeled Max. I think even James Rink claimed that he channeled Max. Do you remember that? I think he did a video about channeling Max.
Oh, yeah. Or he was like saying that there was this guy who channeled him that said this, that said that, Oh, one video, the last video that I went over with James Rink, was he said that a friend of someone like was channeling James Casbolt, and you can channel somebody who's still alive. Sometimes it gets me. I go, what do you mean? The guy's still alive. Like, how are you channeling somebody? Just call him on the phone. DM him on Facebook.
James Rink one was that James kept saying, oh, Max was like, Max is saying, oh, I love you, brother. I miss you. All those kinds. But they were never friends. They were never good friends. I don't think Max liked James Rink at all, really. So that was all very weird that James Rink would be saying, oh, Max, said this, that he missed me, and I'm doing great work. Max says, I'm doing great work, keep up the good work, whatever, or that kind of thing. And I laughed at that because I knew that Max hated James Reed. Why would he be praising him in the afterlife all of a sudden?
Right.
But,
Or
yeah.
yeah, they were. I think it. I remember reading blogs of somebody who did a reading or a channeling of Max and all these messages from the other side, like shortly after he died. Or there's that lady Team Rose that has. I think she was even featured in the BBC actually, like when they talked about the new age kind of nutters that were sort of swirling around saying things. They had featured Rose in that. They kind of made him. I felt that the BBC kind of made a mockery on the community by focusing on the nutty conspiracies.
Yeah, and all these what was you call twin flame or women suddenly appeared after he died, saying, "Oh, Max was my twin flame," Max was this, Max was that, or we were lovers in the astral or something.
Right.
These stories.
Yeah.
Suddenly coming forward.
Right.
But nobody had heard about any of these women before.
That's there's also the lady Lauren Pritchard. Yeah.
I think she's more into Casbolt. I think apparently she had a baby with Casbolt.
Right.
While he was in another country in prison.
Right.
Which I found.
And then the baby was taken up in a spaceship.
Yeah, the baby. The baby was taken. The baby was taken up in a spaceship, and now I don't know.
Right.
She sees him every now and again, or whatever. I don't know, but it'd be interesting to know what James Casbolt has to say about that. So. Right. Yeah. If only we could talk to James Casbolt. I wouldn't mind having James Casbolt on Not My Rabbit Hole at some point. I kind of would like to pick his brain a little bit, but we'll see, right? Yeah. One could wish. So here is our conversation. This is going back to yesterday. And this and here and the reason why I'm bringing up Sandra DeRoy, because Sandra DeRoy she sort of is one of those characters where she showed up in giving detail right after Max's death. She gave testimony, which people do after somebody dies. The people that spoke to him last are going to be contacted to give attribution about their side of the story, what might have been going on. And then she came back like 5 years later with another video that we're going to show and another narrative to the circumstances surrounding Max's death. So I'm gonna recap yesterday a little bit, and let's go ahead and play it. Tomorrow, but I want to skip to like you can tell I say watch at 55:28 because this is where Sandra DeRoy comes in. Can you explain who Sandra DeRoy is and how you might know her? Sandra is a filmmaker. She's made a couple of movies. One called Walk-In Case and another one called Awakening of 12 Strands. I know Sandra because she lived with my sister for about 6 months in London.
Wait, I don't know why I have you on the thing here. What's going on?
This is yesterday's show, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's right. It's yesterday's show. I'm sorry. Here we go. All right, yeah.
And I helped Sandra sort of when she was making her movie. So I would drive around to different places to help her film. And I'm also in one of her movies, Awakening of 12 Strands, some of which was filmed at my sister's apartment where Sandra lived with my sister. And I think after or around the time Max died, there was a lot of conflict between Sandra and Sarah. I took Sarah's side and sort of distanced myself, I guess, or Sandra distanced herself from me because I was friends with Sarah and taking Sarah's side. Because I think, Sandra said that Max was not talking to Sarah. They were not together. And Sarah was saying the opposite. Sarah was saying she was his fiance. They were going to get married and start a family. And so obviously there was a conflict of, stories there. And obviously, as I was Sarah's friend at the time, I took Sarah's side against Sandra, even though Sandra was also my friend. I was sort of stuck in the middle, basically. And so my friendship with Sandra basically ended there. And I've seen her on and off over the years at conferences. And as you know, a few years ago, I became friends again with Sandra, and we did something on the Sean Atwood show about the whole Max Spiers thing.
Uh-huh.
But again, we fell out after that again. And I explained to you about that story as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been a on-off friendship over the years with Sandra.
Okay. I appreciate you sharing that with me about Sandra DeRoy. And what I'm going to show here in this is Sandra DeRoy being pulled into this very first interview and saying that that Max, or that was clean and sober and not in a relationship with Sarah. And at this point, I had never. I think a lot of us didn't know who Sandra DeRoy was, and why was this so relevant? But it apparently Miles thought it was to bring in her testimony because Sandra was talking to Max about this movie. It's called 12 Strands. What's the name of it again?
It's Awakening of 12 Strands.
And what does that mean? Awakening with your 12 strands?
Well, I can't remember like how many strands of DNA humans have, but apparently, there's a conspiracy that if you light up all 12 strands of your DNA, you become like this enlightened, or how would I say, awakened human being kind of thing. So the Awakening of the 12 Strands is a film about, I can't actually remember the storyline, to be honest. But it's sort of that, it has that premise about awakening.
So she's a targeted individual because she's going to be, her 12 strands are awakening. She's going to be this a multi-dimensional kind of human being, an upgraded human being, basically, with all kinds of like amazing powers.
And she had a role in the movie for Max. Max was going to be in the movie, basically. So that's why she was communicating with Max.
And she was considering flying out there to meet him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again,
And then it goes, and then we're going to cover this on the next one, because then it goes to where she said that Miles knew this and that there was this knowledge that something was going to happen to Max, and he told her not to go there. And then the story, this is like for the later, like this is what happened later. But at this time, she came on and gave testimony. Obviously, like what she says is opposite of what Sarah said to the press. Because if Sarah's going to the press and saying she's in this relationship with him, and Sandra's saying that she's not, I do think, based on like the stuff that you showed me and the affair with Sean Stone going back at least 7 months before Max passed away, kind of shows that their relationship was troubled, and that it is highly likely that they were not reconciled at that time. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, basically Sandra was correct in everything that she said, yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this ending where Sandra DeRoy comes on to the broadcast.
Sarah.
And it starts around 55 something, because I like time stamped it. Okay, wait, let me make sure. 55:28 is what I wrote. Well, I'm at 54, so let's go
Okay.
here.
All right, so there are a lot of questions. Let's do some further investigation. I have giving just right here an open invitation to Stuart Swerdlow.
I'm going to add Sandra. Can I do that?
Yeah, I'd love to have Sandra.
Okay, Sandra B is online. Okay, Sandra. Hello, Sandra.
Just right here an open invitation to Stuart Swerdlow. Yeah, I'd love to.
That's a big loop around there, so.
Yeah, hi there.
Sandra DeRoy, are you available? You need to turn down your speaker. Somebody's got a lot of high around.
Yeah, you need to turn. Hi, Sandra. You need to turn off your not stop listening to the show because you're now on it.
Okay.
Okay, very good. So, Sandra, do you want to make a statement? You knew Matt Spiers fairly well, I understand.
Well, it was recent. I sort of like recently was in contact with him. But the last time when I was in contact with him was on the 29th of June. And up till then, I was frequently in touch because he was going to be part of the movie that I'm working on now. So, and then we just sort of got close and we were talking about a lot of things. And I just, you know, in a sense, yeah, I was wondering about the medical thing, and as well that he said that there were some people he was not in touch with. For example, Sarah, that he had blocked her for a long time, at least a month. So it's just, making sure that the information that you receive.
So now looking back, okay, I'm glad I'm playing this because looking back at her saying that, he had her blocked for months, that's not necessarily true. They were still communicating at least up until like around July 9th.
Mm.
I mean, and or like late June, let's just safely say like around the 20th. There was still a lot. They weren't getting along, but there was communication.
Correct, but I can't confirm anything after the 29th. And he even sent me a picture of him and swore.
Oh, I think she said the 29th. Okay, that makes sense.
That evening, and he said that he had I'm trying to even find that conversation because it was typed. It's a little bit confusing for me. I need to go back to it and scan it closely because there were other conversations after that. But he said that he was receiving great information that night, that they were sitting all night and talking, and he was very excited about that. And then prior, unfortunately, he before we stopped being in touch, it just just silly things, and then things were blown out of proportion. But he did say that he saw a very strange dream of a woman with long dark hair sitting in front of him. It was like sort of lucid dreaming, and he
It's a little bit of a dead spot here. Like our technology has really improved since
you
then.
need to confirm where you're getting the info from, because he wasn't in touch with everyone that you keep naming. So that's all. Sorry.
No, that's great. We want to get as accurate information as possible. And the people that knew him or were close to him are certainly, going to be in a position to make statements as to what they remember. You can appreciate this sort of thing went on as well with certainly the death of Prince, the death of of Robin Williams, the chronology and the people that know him, and we're in touch with the person in the last few months, certainly before they die, are always important parties to being able to testify as to the state of mind, as to.
Yes, he was very happy. I was gonna go and see him actually in Poland. He said that he has sobered up and cleaned up, and I sort of gave him advice how to clean up, because I've cleaned up myself through allergic to drink vodka, and he might be allergic to wheat, because he might be going crazy after that. To just stick to soft, lighter drinks. And he was like, no, I'm even quitting smoking. It's just unbelievable here. You need to come and see it. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. That I was obviously manipulated for some reason on the 29th of June, so I stopped communicating with him. But up till then, it was very intense. Yeah.
Okay. So. And again, your name is Sandra. How do you say your last name, Sandra?
Sandra DeRoy.
DeRoy. Okay. And you were shooting a documentary with Max, is that right?
No, actually, I was working on a personal project, and I wanted Max to play one role there, and he agreed to it. So he was going to come down here for the 16th, ironically.
Oh.
And then we sort of, there you go. So I stopped that, and.
Okay, well.
I thought it would be better because I felt like I wasn't, I did meet him recently, it was just just a couple of months. But, there you go.
Right. Okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to add that you might know about this situation? Are you in touch with any of the people close to him at this time, or anything other than Miles?
No. The reason why I wanted to phone in, that it really bothered me that he was saying that he was getting information from, whatever, Sarah, but he was, that's, I wanted to just give you a little warning or whatever, sort of.
Okay, so you're saying he had not been in touch recently, to your knowledge, with Sarah, is that correct?
Yes, because that's one of the things that, I was like, he kept saying that it's not good for his health, so he sort of eliminated some aspects and people from his life just to clean up his act, and just focus on other things. And it's just, since you're investigating, I think that you need to know where the info's coming from. And I've never met Monica before. He didn't mention her. He said that he was out there, and then whatever, and that's it pretty much. He was very enthusiastic. He always, our conversations were based on infinite information. He would never stop. This man, he had so much information, and actually I'm scanning through the notes here as well, because half of them are typed, which is good, and I'm happy to share them with you.
Okay. Well, I do urge you to keep them private for now, and certainly if you want to try off the record, as they say, share them with me. That's your prerogative. But I think at the moment, maybe we have to hear from certainly the family, the mother, and see where things are at from her point of view. I think she would have the final say on what's going on in terms of what gets kind of shared with media and the public. That's usually how it goes, although certainly any of us who have direct interaction with him have our right to share what we know. And that's
Carrie, just to make that
Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to jump off them. I think that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sandra.
Thank you, Ryan.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. And her testimony. Oh shoot, what did I just do here? Her testimony was very Max wasn't talking to Sarah. There was no interaction. He was wanting to do a film with her. There was somebody in the chat saying that there was a possible attraction or potential relationship brewing between Max and Willow. Says Max was into Sandra. Do you know if that what may have been a possibility?
I'm not aware of that. No. From what I remember back then, Sandra said that they were just friends. There was no nothing romantic going on.
So she was mainly like just wanting to get in contact to him to do this particular project. Now, later on, 5 years later, after that particular testimony, Sandra made this video, and this created a whole nother chain of events and narrative to what people believe happened around that time.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna go see Max. I'm just online booking my ticket. It was literally like that. It was literally like that. And this is the following statement that Miles did to me. So I'll try to imitate it. Listen, you silly little girl. Do not stick your nose into situations that are none of your business. There is a plan to get rid of him, alright? He's working on something. There is a plan to get rid of him. So, off. And the phone was put down in my face.
Okay. What are your thoughts on that? There, do you? I'll share mine after you.
I don't know what to say about that one, but it seems strange that he would say that to her, especially she took 5 years to make that public. Why didn't she didn't mention any of that in the Carrie Cassidy thing or after that, or it took her 5 years to say that publicly. That just seems a bit strange. Wouldn't you really say that back then in 2016? That's the only thing that's a bit, and of course there's no way of proving he said that because she didn't record it, so it's her word against Miles, isn't it, really?
Right.
I don't know if Miles has ever commented on that video as to whether he said that or not, so I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't recall Miles saying, "Oh yeah, I said that," or acknowledging any of this with Sandra.
Yeah.
When it came out, I didn't buy it, and that was my first question. Is like, okay, so if this is real, why didn't Sandra say it back then? Because it makes it look, now it really makes it look like Miles was covering something up. And it also, I think if it was true, it implicates her of holding back and not giving out the full information about the details of his death.
Also,
right?
Sandra's also been on his show since then.
Right, I've noticed that.
Many times, including this year.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, she was on his show.
So they're on friendly basis again.
Why would you go back on someone's show who's just told you to, mind your own business and, stay away from Max, and then you go back on his show again and again for the last 10 years and you stay away from him? Or I don't know. If someone said that to you, would you go back on that person's show?
No, I wouldn't. And so it feels like it was just it's clickbait. Like what would be the purpose of doing something like that if you really believe that it was criminal? If you really were saying, oh, here's some evidence of that they really did murder him, and here I knew this information. I ended up not going to Poland because this is what Miles Johnson told me. That would mean that Miles Johnson had was tipped off that something was going to have to happen to Max. I mean, if I knew something like that, like let's say somebody came up to me and they go, and I was in the position that Miles Johnson was, where I was doing all these interviews with like him. Why would I not? And I had a relationship with Max, or maybe even like a trusting relationship, hopefully. Why would I not say, hey, something's up, you need to go home right now, get out of there? Because it makes it feel like that they knew that this was going to. Isn't there any responsibility in that? And then you're all friendly again. And I'm going to play one more time because there's something in it I want to point out that it's a big red flag for me when I watch this video. One is that she's talking about a verbal conversation. All right.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a text to read from. Like yesterday, you gave me screenshots of all these texts between people, and I was able to read the dialogue between them. It's not like I'm running from memory because I talk to these people individually.
By paraphrasing, basically, in that
right.
video.
So she reads it. She wrote it out.
Oh, okay.
She's reading something, and then she'll go, listen. She starts out, listen, and then she says, and then she makes Miles Johnson say, listen back to her. She wrote it, and she made both her and Miles using the same phrases. I seriously doubt the conversation took place like that. Are you familiar with like Miles Johnson going, listen, right? It's not right. Let me show it again.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna go see Max. I'm just online booking my ticket. It was literally like that. It was literally like that. And this is the following statement that Miles did to me. So I'll try to imitate it. Listen, you silly little girl. Do not stick your nose into situations that are none of your business. There is a plan to get rid of him, all right? He's working on something. There is a plan to get rid of him. So, off. And the phone was put down in my face.
I don't know. I have a problem. I just have a problem with it. Like, first of all, it's she can't corroborate it that the conversation ever really happened. Miles never. I mean, why would he say, "Oh yeah, that happened"? But there's just no way. And now they're all friendly with each other. I mean, like what? I mean, you were there, and at that time, and there was a reboot. Both you and Sandra went on Sean Atwood's show. How did tell us the story? How did all that happen?
I can't remember if I reached out to Sandra or she reached out to me, and she knew or had contact with Sean Atwood. I wanted to do a show on Max, on Sean Atwood. I was a bit dubious about it, but I went on the show anyway. But Sandra was also promoting her book, her new book, Walking Case, at the time. I think she wanted me to help her promote her book. So she sent me a copy of her book. I don't actually remember why she brought up the whole Max Spiers thing again, because she became sort of friends again with me and Sarah. Which, looking back on it, seems a bit strange. Considering they were like sort of, had different stories about the whole Max Spiers thing that time, or back in 2016 anyway.
Right.
And then they became friends again.
I mean,
So-
completely opposite stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it does seem a bit weird now looking back at it. But again, that friendship didn't last very long. So, I think it was maybe a month or two, and then she accused Sarah of stealing her work, doing an interview about walk-ins or mentioning walk-ins. It's like Sandra claimed the term walk-in, that you can't use that or something. I don't know.
Like, does she think that she copyrighted the word walk-in? Because that's that terminology in terms that I remember hearing that the possibility of a walk-in for me going back to like 2010, from a lot of different people that talked about that phenomenon possibility. There's a whole community of people who say that they're walk-ins.
Yeah, I think she claimed that I'd either given Sarah her book or something like that, because Sarah did an interview around that time where she talked about walk-ins, and it was very similar to what Sandra had written in her book about walk-ins. It was just a coincidence, but she wouldn't believe me, and then the friendship ended again, and I haven't spoken to her since then. So like 4 years, however long that Sean Atwood thing was.
It makes me think of like the topic of walk-ins, right? It makes me think about like when I first started stand-up comedy, and it's like everybody, like there were all these Grey Poupon commercials. I don't know if you remember, here in the United States, there'd be like a limousine come up, and it rolls down the window, and then somebody would like go, "Is that Grey Poupon you're eating?" or something, whatever. It was like this sort of snooty. It was like a funny tag, and there were so many people, so many comics that did a variation of that joke. It was so hack. And then they would argue about it, and they go, "That's my Grey Poupon joke." And they go, "No, that's mine." "No, you stole my Grey Poupon joke." I'm like, "It's a Grey Poupon joke." Like it, like it's like oh, you're talking about walk-in. Oh, I'm talking about walk-ins. Well, it's a topic. Not like it's not like Sandra DeRoy like disclosed walk-ins.
Yeah, it's the same as like the whole Corey Good thing when he tried to trademark 20 and back and the secret space program and all kinds of terms. He said that I created those terms, those phrases. When you can go back like 20 years, you can go back years. I can't remember. It's all in a book as well. I think someone called him up on it and said that you've taken these from this book, the 20 and back, and all that kind of, all those phrases are in this book that was written in the early 2000s or the late 90s or early 2000s. And he didn't have any response to that, funnily enough. It's well known that Corey Good, was in forums like Project Avalon, which is what's her name, Kerry Cassidy's old partner.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember his name now.
Yeah.
He was in Project Avalon, stealing people's stories, and then going on Gaia and saying this happened to me, and there were people on Project Avalon saying that's my story. Why are you talking? So he would like troll people and say, no, that's my term. I created that term, but it was all taken from forums like Project Avalon. What was the other one? All these forums like Godlike Productions, Above Top Secret. He was on there all the time, stealing people's stories. So yeah, I don't know how we got talking about that, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, like Corey Good. Well, I mean, he's kind of like in the background of this, really.
Yeah.
Because the secret space program, it's kind of like he sort of co-opted that whole thing in some ways, but the there's like the secret space program mythology out there, and yeah. So
Yeah, but that was going long before Corey Good talked about it. I mean,
yeah,
James Rink has been talking about it since the early 2000s, like 2010 or even before that. And the Super Soldier Conference, that was linked to it. That was 2012, 2013, a few years before Corey Good even showed up on the scene. So,
right. Yeah, that's true.
yeah. I mean,
So I'm trying to think like when Corey Good finally like came out. It was out. I noticed Corey with David Wilcock on Gaia TV, and I if I can remember right, that was
around
probably
2014, I think, was the first.
Was it?
Cosmic Disclosure. I think it was around 2013, 2014, I think.
Do you know that there's like a special on Tubi on them, both David Wilcock and Corey Good and their stuff. So basically, I think the consensus is now is that Sandra DeRoy is kind of just somebody in this media that was sort of was doing this film. Was there two films? There was Walk In and then there was 12 Strands. Were they two different movies?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's got like a background of being a filmmaker about these types of topics. And I believe like I looked at her like earlier on, like back when I was kind of covering this like a few years back. And she had done certain interviews with what's this guy named John? A lot of people in the UK, maybe even like Simon Parkes. There were people that are activists, kind of like about child trafficking, kind of like on I've seen him do stuff with Anti-Pirate Disney and things like this. Like she had been doing interviews adjacent. Like it feels like Sandra DeRoy was kind of gonna be like like doing a show, like doing interviews and like doing shows about disclosure and the usual topics like what Sean Atwood is doing, but that didn't seem to really take off. And then I feel like she rebooted with her book. And then doing this, I've got extra information to the narrative of Max Spiers, and then let me go on Sean Atwood, because like I'm sorry, but in your interview you could see like Sean Atwood has his book in the bookshelf behind him, and he's like going like this. And I get it. I mean, you have people on and they have merch, and it's kind of like I don't mind if somebody comes on and goes, "Oh, here's my book," or even talking about somebody's book, or as a topic. But it just felt like there wasn't really a link between her book and Max. Like it would be different if it was like a book about the investigation into Max, but it was like, I'm going to pretend like I have extra information, and so now I'm going to talk about Max. And I think that happens a lot in this particular community, that there is a lack of integrity on the actual details of somebody. Like the person isn't there. Like, for example, the name, like on this, the background to this show. I mean, I can collapse it a little bit. Oh, I guess I could go like that. Well, let's say we went like this, right? All right, the background, you can't really see it, but it's like, who speaks for Max? There it is. Who speaks for Max? Like, who speaks for him at this point? And whomever is speaking, are they speaking with actual truth or facts, or are they just spinning something for their own advantage?
I guess his mother is probably the only one speaking for Max.
Right.
Yeah.
That you think actually has the real.
Well, she knows more. She knows more about Max than anyone, I think.
Uh-huh.
So she was obviously involved in the inquest and everything. And Monica, obviously she would have spoken to Monica at that time. Again, I don't know what Monica told Vanessa, so maybe we can find out about that at some point. But I don't think that Monica spoke to Vanessa after that day. I think Monica blanked. I mean, I think they communicated to get his belongings and things, but even Vanessa told me not all of Max's belongings were returned. So there was stuff missing that Vanessa knew he had that was never returned to her. So yeah.
So she only so you're saying that Monica only talked to Vanessa like maybe once?
I think only a few times to get his belongings back, to discuss, what happened, and then to arrange, obviously, the body being returned to England, and then to return his belongings, which he never did return all his belongings. Vanessa's told me there's stuff missing, stuff that she knows that Gibson's things that he had bought in Cyprus that were never returned to Vanessa, and clothing and stuff like that, which was never returned to Vanessa.
I'm getting something from Willow. Did Miles ever refer to Max as being just a performer?
I don't remember that specifically, no. Is that in a post or something he referred to him, or in a video?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Max was talking about Stone in that interview. Yeah, I heard things of you need to bring in new material next time I put you on a conference. Like there might have been pressure to not repeat similar things.
I think at that conference, Mars wanted it to be a serious conference kind of thing. I think he says this a lot though. He wanted new material from Max, I think. He didn't want Max to go over the same old things that he had already discussed in previous conferences. So I think he had asked Max, do you have any new material for this conference?
And I can get that. I mean, again, if you're doing conferences and you're giving dissertations or everything, but what does it mean, like new material? Like, do you think maybe that puts pressure on somebody to? I mean, I'm not saying Max fabricated any stories, but do you think that puts pressure on somebody to do something like that? Because that was a criticism that, let's say, I heard certain people say, like, oh, because of this requirement to come up with new material, he took my story on the Fae. And anybody could talk about fairies, right? But it feels like that requirement put a certain bitchiness, cattiness, and protective of people's content at that time. Do you remember anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, Max never spoke to me about what he was going to talk about, but I did remember Miles telling him that he wanted it to be a serious conference. He wanted him to present new material, not go over the same, super soldier stuff or all that, the same stuff he's already talked about previously. I think he did have new material that he was going to talk about, so I don't think he was under any pressure to come up with stuff. So I think Max has done.
Well, obviously he might have had something because his computer was wiped. Again, when people say, well, he was stealing, it's like, well, then why did somebody want to get rid of something that he had if it belonged, why isn't somebody else talking about the things that he was talking about? So where I want to go with now is like, let's talk more a little bit about today. And, you know, some of the stories that we see being spun out there by people. I kind of think that I saw recently a pretty good show on YouTube, and I mirrored it a little bit in discussion. There's somebody put together a kind of like a 30-minute video of an investigation into the details of Max's death. I thought that it was pretty thorough, and it did mention the cell phone and the computer being wiped, and really brought up some stuff. It kind of went into that maybe the theory of this particular show was that he was going to reveal things about cloning and my labs and stuff like that, and that's the information that they didn't want out. My argument about that is that those conversations have been going on for so long, since the very beginning, that I don't see why that would put a big, you know, unless it was some sort of information that was different or more that proved it than anybody else did. But, you know, we've got the guy Donald Marshall, and, you know, the whole cloning aspect, or Montauk. You know, when you have a documentary filmmaker that like Oki's Weird Stories, that can do like a show called How I, you know, Infiltrated a Bizarre Conspiracy Cult, and be able to chart the folklore of what the secret space program is at this point, created oftentimes by Corey Goode and everybody, and then pretend to tell the story to James Rink, and James Rink to actually believe it when he totally made it up based on the folklore people do. There is a I would say, in some ways, in this community, agreed upon belief system that's out there, and then it feels like people argue about the details of that particular belief system. So it's kind of like trying to like go like, well, what is fact and what is fiction? In your opinion, what things about Max said that you feel are potentially spot on and real in terms of some of the things that he talked about?
It's hard to say that, because these were Max's experiences. So all the stories he talks about, from like when he was a child and he was taken out of school. He talks about going down a spiral staircase to a basement, where this all links to like the GATE program, where he was tested. And then he talks about, I can't remember if he actually specifically talks about alien races that he was communicating with. I think he talked more about being involved in government programs. So he was like either in an underground base, or he talked about the Sepulveda Boulevard in Los Angeles, where he said it was either like 666 Sepulveda Boulevard or something like that, or 333. And I actually looked at that address up, by the way, on Google Maps, and it's just a regular office kind of thing. On the outside, it looks like a regular office. And he said, yeah, he went in there, he went into an elevator, pressed a certain sequence of buttons, and after about 30 seconds, the elevator opened, and he was on Mars. So it was like a jump room inside the elevator in some, you know, random office building in Los Angeles, you know. And I think a few other people have talked about that. I think that scene might even be in Men in Black, you know, where Will Smith walks into the building, they go into an elevator, and then suddenly they're in a completely different place with all aliens running around, and, you know, that kind of thing. So people could say, oh, he got that from Men in Black, you know. So, but then are people getting these stories from the movies, or are the movies putting the real stories in the movies, or putting the real, you know, the CIA stuff in the movies, or the, you know, which way is it? Are the movies telling us what's going on, or are we telling the movies what's going on, you know?
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah, and you can have that conversation forever, because a lot of people think, well, they put it in the movies because they're getting people used to the idea of happening of this being real, so if you put it in a movie, then when you present it to somebody, then they're not as shocked by it. It's like,
And then you could say,
or you go, I saw it in the movie, so I don't believe it.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Right? It's like, that was in a movie. Come on. I mean, I find it really interesting that some of the stuff that sci-fi writers like Philip Dick wrote about, come true. They're a lot of times, like, looking into the future and imagining what is going to happen in the future actually really happens in the future. I will say this: there are a lot of things that Max talked about it that now, like I said yesterday, kind of come, you're like, oh my God, that really did happen, or he was spot on about that. He really, he was correct on those things. I think more than anything, it was really his research into the occult and different aspects of it and different aspects of Hollywood. Whether you wanted to say that, he really did those things, or he really had those abilities. It's just his vast knowledge of what was happening and his analytical mind and his assessments was what was so fascinating to me about him. And also, the fact that, like, how Vanessa messaged yesterday, somebody asked, is this real or not real? They're a little confused. I think it's because, Taz, we're almost wearing the same thing we wore yesterday. And so it's like, oh my God. And then I played like that yesterday's clip, and they're like, I don't know what's happening here. But this part's real. But now I forgot what I was going to say. But I was talking about how when he talked about, and Vanessa brought it up, and everybody brought it up about his the human heart, and like loving people, like not allowing they or the controlled opposition or the powers that be put us against each other and separate each other, because that's what they want, is to break us apart, polarizing us in different ways. Maybe, I'm thinking maybe politically or socially or whatever. There's this fight against it. And I think that, he really believed that, like, he would talk about how Earth, like in the solar system, the Earth was, he said this on my show, was the heart of the universe. And that, somewhere, he still saw it, but a lot of people, I feel like it's gotten worse since then. But that we had compassion still, and that there was an attack on the human spirit, and and of us losing our empathy and compassion for one another. So, he kind of in that sense, I felt like that message gave us hope in ourselves, that we have to hold on to, to love. And even like looking through, the screenshots that you showed me and the dialogue that happened between Max and Sarah, he, even in the end, he was loving her unconditionally. Even after all the things that he said to her, he still saw something about her, or really loved her no matter what, even if it was just that he was going to be her friend. And looking at what was going on, I felt that there was a lot of dysfunction. He described Sarah as being like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and that if anybody's been in a abusive relationship, oftentimes the person who is the abuser will be that way. They're oftentimes very charming. They can be very loving. They can love bomb you, but at the same time, they could flip on a dime. And even in their dialogue with one another, I felt that a lot of that was going on. It might have been a little bit codependent on Max's end, where he was still, I think that if it looks to me that if Sarah had all of a sudden, stopped being a narcissist or being that way, right, opened up her heart, he would have gladly have taken her back, despite what would have happened of her cheating or doing any of the things that she did. I feel like when I read the emails, do you have that feeling?
I think it was like, conflicted. You know, he wanted to believe that she loved him as much as he loved her, but then the way she was reacting, or making fun of him, or taking digs at him, didn't seem like she was interested in being with him. So it was like a lot of people have called it a toxic relationship. They had a toxic relationship,
Yeah.
and that's pretty evident in the emails. I would
Okay.
say.
Now there is something I want to bring up because there's a lot of talk of accusations of witchcraft, especially like towards us lately by Sarah. Like we're practicing black magic against her and all this kind of stuff and everything.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is Sarah was on that call when they were doing that ritual on Max, bringing in the wine and the, bringing his soul into wine and all that kind of stuff. We had that conversation yesterday, like at Monica Duvall's house. Sarah was on the call doing that ritual of like maybe some sort of soul transfer happening. And when Vanessa first got contact with Monica Duvall, when she found out that he had passed away, that was already happening. And then you have and you've shown me a dialogue between you and Sarah about that Sarah. First of all, let's talk about the crystal that she put near his grave. Can we talk about that a little bit? And then the removal of that crystal?
Yeah, Sarah. So me, Sarah, and Vanessa visited Max's grave towards the end of 2017, and then while there, Sarah placed a crystal at the foot of Max's grave, and I can't remember what the purpose of it was. But then I told Vanessa earlier this year to remove it, in case there was some kind of illicit reason for putting it there. And when Vanessa removed it, she said it was black. It was like I don't know if it was black when it was put into the the grave, but it was black when she took it out. It was like a black. I should have asked her maybe to send a photo if she still got it of what it looks like now. But again, I think I did Google it or something. Why would you place a crystal in someone's grave? Some kind of protection or something to do with protection or something.
I'm going to Google it right now. Why would you put a crystal by someone's grave?
Why would you bury a crystal in someone's grave? Would be
putting a crystal or stone on a grave is a meaningful way to show. Okay. Why would you bury? Okay, why would you bury? That is the question. Oh, okay, let me go there. Burying a crystal by a grave is typically done as a symbolic gesture of remembrance, to offer spiritual comfort to the departed, or to participate in pagan and Wiccan magic. Specific crystals are often chosen based on their perceived metaphysical properties, such as amethyst for peace and spiritual protection. Here are the most common reasons someone might bury a crystal at a burial site. Pagan and Wiccan rituals, crystals are frequently used in these belief systems to ground energy. Burying them is thought to help an anchor or connection to the spiritual realm and the deceased's transition, or protect the grave site from negative energy. Symbol of everlasting memory. Unlike flowers, which eventually wither, crystals are enduring, leaving one in. It is a permanent physical representation of the visitor's love and the lasting nature of their memories. Grief and healing. Many people believe crystals hold calming or healing energies. Mourners might bury or place a specific stone like rose quartz for love, or amethyst for peace, to help process their own grief or to wish tranquility upon their loved one. Historical and cultural traditions. The broader practice of leaving stones or pebbles on a grave is deeply rooted in Jewish tradition. signifying that someone has visited and remembers the person who passed. While traditionally done with ordinary stones, some individuals use crystals and personalized variation of the custom. So, but there's another thing that happened that I want to bring up is besides, like, you know, doing the crystal in the earth. Did she put it there, or did she have somebody put it there at the grave for her?
No, she put it there. Yeah.
Okay. Was the family aware that it was there before she put it there, or is it something that she snuck and did?
Vanessa was aware.
Okay.
No, I don't know how Vanessa was aware, but yeah, maybe Sarah told her or asked her if she could place a crystal there. I don't remember specifically, but yeah, Vanessa was aware.
I also saw in the DMs or the screenshots that you shared with me, was that Sarah was asking you to bring some dirt from his gravesite through customs to the United States to her.
To post it to her, yeah.
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 Why? Can you go into that? Can you give us some details on that?
Yeah, Sarah asked me to go to the gravesite and get some dirt from his grave and post it to her. So I did actually post it to her, but it was stopped at customs and destroyed or something. I got a like a letter or something from customs saying that it wasn't delivered because it was organic material or something and couldn't be identified, and so it was destroyed.
Okay.
It wasn't allowed through or something, so it never made it to Sarah.
Do you think that if you put it in a suitcase, you would have gotten away with it?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
But it wasn't going to go through the mail.
No.
I honestly, I've had somebody. I think I've had somebody email me pot from England. I have, yeah. No, actually, somebody emailed. They emailed me, the serum, the RSO oil from England, and it went completely through customs. Not email, but mailed. Not emailed.
Right.
Mailed. Yeah, no problem. You no problem at all. Not one question, but you can't give any dirt. That's interesting.
Maybe because they couldn't identify what it was just dirt, but I don't know. It looks suspicious. Why are you mailing dirt in the post?
Right, yeah. Okay. Willow says never do that, Taj. Are you saying like do the dirt? Because here's what I did look up, like why people would ask for grave dirt, right?
Yeah.
And it for common ethical gathering practitioners typically this is really interesting. Witches use graveyard dirt in folk magic witchcraft because the soil is believed to be a potent conduit for the spirit world. The type of ritual depends highly on the deceased life. For example, from a loved one might be used as protection spells, while dirt from a criminal's grave is often reserved for hexes. Ethical gatherings, practitioners typically emphasize a strict code of ethics collecting soil. Most believe you must ask the spirit for permission, state your intent, and leave a physical offering like coins, flowers, or liquor at the headstone. Taking dirt without asking is considered disrespectful and can carry heavy spiritual consequences. Common ritual uses: protection charms. Dirt from a peaceful loved one's grave is frequently sewn into the sachets of satchels. I'm sorry, or sprinkle. Okay, dirt from a peaceful loved one's grave is frequently sewn into satchels or sprinkled across door thresholds to ward off negative energy. Hexes and bindings. Some traditions utilize soil from a hostile person or criminal's grave to halt someone's actions or invoke justice from beyond. Ancestor work, witches may incorporate graveyard dirt into rituals meant to honor the dead and guidance from ancestors or enhance mediumship. Courage and strength. Soil retrieved from a soldier's or veteran's burial is thought to carry the energy of bravery and often used in empowerment spells. And fine, okay, yeah. So I just thought that was really interesting. And oh, thank you, God's Gladiator, for the $4.99 super chat. And your message, may the soul of justice work in all our favor. I'm thinking that's in all our. I put favor, but I'm thinking that's what you lives. May the soul of justice work in all our lives. Amen. Thank you. That's what we're working for right now. I think is like a little bit of justice here today. So there was this request. It's kind of odd, I think, a little bit about the dirt. It feels like there was a magical or a ritual aspect to it. I want to bring up also before we go, because we're kind of rounding out the hour here. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who's been on the show the past 3 weeks. Jack Joyce, Abby, and Vanessa and Josh. That was like it's been really special to have them on. And then all of you that have come here as being part of this discussion. Taj, you worked really hard with me in putting this together and everything. But that being said too, I do want to again address some of the things that have been happening now as they pertain to this particular show. One of the things that I want to bring up, speaking of witchcraft, is now we don't have to say the lady's name, but the fact that Sarah had offered somebody $1,500 to do a doom spell on some of us. In relation to that. Another thing that has arisen recently is I've been shown a piece of paper where that doom spell was not just for Sarah's benefit, but for the benefit of other people. One that included Brian Sang as well as Sean Stone. And in light of everything that we've discussed about the past relationship, what do you think about those dynamics, that those names are on that sheet of paper against people like you, me, and others that also are mentioned that I'm going to eliminate? I'm just going to keep it to you and I at the moment. But there were a couple other people on that target list of having a spell done on us to actually basically kill us.
Yeah, it was a bit weird that Sean Stone's name was on there. I'm not sure if he's aware. I don't know.
No, I know. I don't.
I know you said you were going to reach out to him.
I haven't done that yet because I've been doing this, but I'm going to just to get his feedback on that. It is a bit weird, and I'm wondering if it's not like one of those kind of things where it's like what do you call it? Like they're baiting you, like. I think you'd already shared a few screenshots from the things that we talked about that did show a liaison between Sean Stone and Sarah already, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you have this person who made this claim that Sarah went to her to do this spell, and they show a piece of paper because it was really a piece of paper with these names written on it. Do you think that maybe they're showing that so that we're going to end up talking about it, and so it looks like more disinformation from us? Like it's like a bait to have it be discussed rather than Sean Stone having anything to do with that?
I'm assuming she got those. The person who made that list got those names from Sarah,
right?
And the dates of birth on that list from Sarah. So you have to ask yourself, why would Sarah put Sean Stone's name on there? So I don't know if she's in contact with him or working with him or not. Sarah likes to name drop people a lot. You know, like the Harveys, I work with Steve Harvey's family, or I know Sean Stone, I know this person, I know that person.
Uh-huh.
To make myself, you know, feel look more important. So maybe she was trying to impress this person by saying, "Oh, can you put Sean Stone's name on there?" You know, I'm just thinking out loud, kind of thing. But I would be surprised if he was aware of it, or that um, he wanted to be involved in this death spell. I would be surprised.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't. It seems careless if he did, and I don't think that it would be something where he would, even if he was involved, right? Let's say he was involved. Why would he want his name out there like that and have it exposed that he was involved, right? I mean, I kind of, my feeling is that it probably he has nothing to do with it. But I do think that I still want to go to him to find out that he is there. I just find it's just interesting to see his name circulated in it at all. And you know, this lady who is now on X, she just like created an X account, like she was like posting this stuff like on my birthday, even like, oh, I'm late to the party, but I'm here. And I'm like, okay, so that's been going on, which I think is kind of interesting. We are talking basically, if it wasn't for David Schroeder, you know, coming out and accusing, you know, us of blackmailing and extorting Sarah.
Yeah, apparently, you know, we were best friends, or we are best friends, or
right. No, apparently, we're even doing sex, webcam sex with you, me, and Stephen Camion.
Yeah, we're
right.
Where what was it? We're blackmailing, or what we were doing? We were blackmailing
Sarah. We're escorting her. Yeah.
Escorting her. But I don't see any proof of that.
Right.
Unless David Schroeder has seen proof of that, I doubt it. But oh yeah, I was on the dark web as well. Like it's illegal.
Right.
It's illegal to be on the dark web. But yeah, it's yeah, it's been a very funny few months really with the death spell, and I'm on the dark web. I'm blackmailing people, stealing millions apparently, and I'm an incel and all this kind of stuff. Drug addict. But funnily enough, Sarah's gone quiet recently.
Yeah.
But she's got nothing to say for once, which is, you know, unheard of, isn't it? Really?
yeah. I mean, and you know, she might end up, you know, saying something pretty soon. But it was really intense for me. You know, I think that David Schroeder came out and said that on December 18th, and then then it was like Sarah was back, and with some really hardcore, you know, people, you know, trolls that I've been dealing with, right? She just like joined that, and you know,
Yeah,
then they went on Titus Frost show, and they went on Coley Weber show, and then we got linked into the whole Corey Good, David Wilcock thing. And
yeah, it all amped up when David Wilcock died, and apparently you drove him to his death, and Cambium drove him to his death, and you know, all these accusations were flying around with no evidence. And then she said on Coley Weber's show, I've got mounds of evidence, not just a little bit of evidence, she's got mounds of evidence, so much that they couldn't even show it all, you know. I think the Hidden Truth podcast said, "Oh my God, there's too much to show." You know? And then she never actually showed any of it, because she was supposed to go back and show all this evidence, but none of it appeared. And yeah, I mean, that seems to be a recurring theme with Sarah. She says she's got all this evidence, but never presents any of it because it doesn't exist, obviously.
What exactly happened? Like, can you share with us your side of the story of like the falling out that happened between you and Sarah?
I think it mostly started around when the whole Harvey thing happened, the whole overdose thing, because I was still with Sarah, and a lot of it didn't make any sense to me. Like the story that Sarah gave me didn't add up, and we sort of had a falling out then. I didn't believe her, but I carried on working with her. And then she brought in a new guy to help with her marketing, then Nick. And then I was helping. But again, all this time I'm not being paid for any of this. I'm being, almost like demanding stuff from me, like doing work. She would call me or message me at 2 o'clock in the morning to send out a mail shot when I'm about to go to bed or something, and then I was supposed to go to last year's Conscious Life Expo to go see her, and then we had a fight about where I was going to stay and all this kind of stuff, and I cancelled it, and then we didn't speak for several weeks, and then I think she posted on her page she has a new business manager, Nick. That's like news to me, and I had an argument with her about it. The next day I quit, basically. I just walked away from it because I couldn't deal with continuing to like help her and never get any thanks for it or anything. Be accused of stealing from her when she's the one who put me in debt. I've showed that multiple times on Facebook and YouTube, screenshots of from PayPal and her messages saying she would pay me back and never pay me back. Which is, it's not a small amount. It was $30,000, and I'm still getting like debt collectors chasing me for that to this day. So that was the short version of what happened, pretty much.
And then, like, she just started like posting things about you, and it was like, the defamation.
Yeah, when I left, I took some money. I took about $7,000, which I thought was what she owed me for working for her for like a couple of years, basically for free. And everything. And she kicked off when I took that money. And then started saying I stole millions of dollars from her. And my bank account was frozen. I had to send evidence to my bank showing that money was owed to me, and then they unfroze my account. But I posted that the bank took my side and let me keep the money. And of course, she went mental again. She threatened me saying, "Oh, I'm talking to the FBI. I'm talking to Interpol." Always, it's all bullshit. Obviously, just contacting my family, my friends, telling them I'm going to jail, I'm going to prison, I'm a drug addict, I've stolen millions of dollars from her. She even said I was a convicted felon, and all this kind of stuff. That's what I've had to deal with since February last year, basically. Every now and again she'll post more stuff. It's the same old stuff, same accusations. She's called me everything from a drug addict to a thief to an incel to a creepy old Indian man.
Sorry.
It's all like I'm old enough to be her father, which I'm not. But yeah, it's all insults, all what I would
I mean, she's 40 now, right?
41, yeah.
41. Okay,
So
she's not a spring chicken anymore. She's not 29. Let's just put it that way.
It's the kind of thing you expect in primary school, kind of thing, name calling.
I
think that's the level that she sinks to, and that's all she can do really, is to call me names, accuse me of things, and she stopped now. She stopped for a few months now, and I found it funny that she offered you and Steve Cambion to do a show with her, but she never offered me the same opportunity. I wonder why.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
I posted, I think it's not on X. I said, "You bring your receipts, I'll bring mine. Let's do a show." She blocked me on X. And yeah, that was the end.
I mean, what happens when you block somebody on X? Really not much. I mean, it like they can still tag you and you can still see people's posts. You know, like there's no complete disconnect that you have on Facebook. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I think she messaged me from another fake account, and then I said, "Hi, Sarah," and then she posted on her page, "Oh, look, he's still stalking me." She didn't post on there that she'd messaged me from a fake account. So then I posted the full, screenshot of her account that she used, to troll me. She has all these, like, she has dozens of fake Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
oh yeah,
Like dozens of them.
she's trolled me with fake accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but the people on her page are like so stupid. Like, she posted, "Yeah, look, he's still stalking me. How can I be stalking you from my real account when you had me blocked for over a year? It's not possible for me to message or comment on your page because you've got me blocked." And it was my actual real Facebook account because I only have one. Not like her. I don't have dozens of Facebook accounts. I only have my one Facebook account that I replied. And people don't question, "Oh, haven't you got him blocked? How was he able to message you, 'Hi, Sarah,' if you have him blocked for over a year?" It's just so, obvious. But people on her page are either like, stupid or gullible or whatever. I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to all of the above in terms of the things that you're talking about, and the tactics that Sarah uses online, I think are It's like a technique. It's comparable to what a lot of other people do. Like, for example, David Schurter is doing the same thing to me. Right. I mean, I sent him a cease and desist letter. And first of all, he wouldn't even, it came to his house. He wouldn't even sign for it. He goes, "Oh, this is a setup. This is a setup, for her to give me her address so she can say that I'm, doxing her." Like it would like he made himself the victim when all I'm trying to do is send him a piece of paper for him to read the cease and desist before I actually file a civil harassment suit against him. So then I email him, and then he instead of because I know he's not going to accept it, so I put it in the title. I have this professional, Mr. Schurter, this is about blank, 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 and attached is my cease and desist letter. And then he, writes back, "Go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself," and this kind of stuff. And then I tell my mom that. My mom goes, "You should just come back and say, yeah, I will. Thank you. I'll go ahead and take care of, You're telling me
I found it funny that you emailed Sarah cease and desist, and she responded within half an hour, didn't she?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like all she had to do was keep quiet and just claim that she never received it, but she just can't
Yeah, she even had a post about it.
Yeah,
I woke up to this insanity, and this is whatever. And I was like, okay, well, because those kind of actions are actually part of my digital trail of my defense.
Yeah, well,
then they went here and they said that, yeah.
People are like Sarah too stupid to understand the legal process. She thinks that she's smarter than everyone when it comes to the law or whatever, but she doesn't even have a lawyer. Brian Sang's lawyer wouldn't even take her case because he found it completely ridiculous.
Really?
I got that from someone who worked with Brian Sang, who knows Brian Sang's lawyer. So the fact that Brian Sang's lawyer was free, basically. Brian was going to pay for it, but he wouldn't take on any of Sarah's insanity because it was ridiculous. So
what case would she have, really? I mean, what? I mean,
the thing is, she's made all these accusations, like, "I've stolen millions of dollars, I've done that." And when the lawyer says, "Okay, show me your evidence," she's like, crickets,
Yeah.
She's very good at, making a lot of noise, but when it comes to actually doing anything, nothing happens. It's been 18 months nearly since I left. And other than making false police reports, which, I posted on YouTube as well, She's created fake messages from the police on WhatsApp messages, which I sent to the police, and they laughed at it and said, that's not how we talk. That's not the way, we don't, we don't take reports via WhatsApp. Interpol wouldn't get involved unless you're some kind of massive fucking drug smuggler, or you're involved in some kind of murder case, or the trivial stuff going on between you and Sarah is nothing that Interpol would be interested in.
Right.
This about some spat on Facebook, okay? So
Sorry.
it's I think even at one point she said, "Oh, I'm waiting at my beach house for the FBI to show up."
My beach house.
Yeah, she's I'm at my beach house. The FBI are coming. Why would the FBI be coming to you? To take a report
Right,
about
they
me,
don't.
about what's going on with me. Really? You think the FBI give two shits about what's going on with me? There are better things to do, right? Than Sarah Adams, grievances or whatever. But people do believe her for whatever reason.
Have you ever had anything that you felt that you lost, maybe an opportunity because of these kind of rumors, or has that ever happened to you?
No, I don't want to say what I'm doing right now. I'm still involved in this community, the whole UFO community in the UK, but I'm working on projects that I've not posted about because they all know what Sarah's like. I have a business partner right now who I'm working with who knows Sarah, knows about Sarah, and he says, if she comes towards him, he will F her up, basically. If she comes at him, he will F her up, basically, is what he said.
Oh, really?
He will F her up legally.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, people who I'm working with know who Sarah is, and they're not scared of her. I'm not scared of her.
I feel like, unfortunately, the legitimacy, in a world that's not legitimate anyway in the first place, most of the time, in terms of like how the outer world views it in some ways, is not, it's tanked at this point. I think, and I don't think she realizes that it's not that, someone like Stephen Cambion or myself or you came on a show, or like I did any investigations into her. Yeah, that can have an effect, right? But if you I don't have the most, I have, my channel is growing. Thank you very much for subscribing and everything. But it's not like I feel like I have that kind of influence to actually ruin somebody's career based on the reporting that I'm doing. But I also felt that the reporting that I did and the circumstances to what happened with the Harveys, like was had integrity to it. Like I was fact checking, we were sourcing it. Even the stuff that Stephen Cambion did, like everybody waited for actual receipts, actual footage, because I had wind that this had happened with the Harvey family, like maybe even like months before I spoke out publicly about it, because it was one of those things that you had to make sure that you knew the actual details about, and then you presented it in a legitimate way, because that's the slippery slope that somebody could sue you if you were fabricating something like that. But the fact that it really happened, and that there's hosts or influencers online that covered it or had an attitude about it, or did commentary on it, that's perfectly legal underneath the Constitution. That's free speech. That's not like going on and saying, that I'm a pedo and, a Zionist, and, that I, am a Satanist and I'm responsible for the death of David Wilcock, or you or anybody else. Those things, that is defamation. That is slander. But to actually go and talk about somebody's behavior or show receipts, or like we talked yesterday about how, she actually went to the press and said things about her relationship with Max and spun stories that were not actually really happening.
Yeah.
And, I think that's where, as people that are in this media that are actually, looking at content or trying to figure it out, I think that it's important to point that out to people, that she's lying, and she's lying about the death of her boyfriend or her ex-boyfriend or somebody that she had a relationship, somebody that she was on the forefront of talking about a topic. I think it's like, and we were trying to figure out the details of what happened to him. I think that she has done a disservice to the truth of the details of his death, that she's been part of the clown show, the disinformation campaign. And I that's one of the things that I'm wanting to say on my show, is that from my finding and my experience, my assessment, the receipts that I have, is that she's done a disservice to the truth of what happened, because she spun stories of lies and she attacked people. She used it to her own advantage.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the last year has been quite revealing for me, almost like an awakening in a way. Someone who I thought was my best friend and I treated like family was actually quite the opposite. And it's not an understatement to say that I think that Sarah is probably one of the most evil people I have ever met, knowing what I know now about her. When, a couple of years ago, I would have thought the exact opposite. It's funny how, when you're shown the truth about someone, your perception of that person does a 180, because you know that they've been lying to your face for years, and it is difficult to get over something like that when we talked every day for 8 years. How many people do you know that you talk to every single day for 8 years?
Right.
And then to think how many of those conversations were real, or how many she was trying to get me to do something, or manipulating me, or using me, or whatever. And that, how many of those conversations were actually real is it's hard for me to get my head around that someone can be that two-faced, that evil is the only word I can use to describe what she's done to me and what she's done to many other people. When you've read the emails in Max's own words, he said that you've done this since you were a teenager to so many people. And she will continue to do it. She will not stop, because she doesn't see anything wrong in what she's doing. This is the whole, the narcissist, how would you describe it? Personality disorder. You can't cure a narcissist. There's no cure for what they have. They will be like this. Sarah will be like this until the day she dies. She's in denial. She'll never take accountability for anything in her life. She never has and never will. So, yeah.
Well, I think though it's really hard to market yourself as an intuitive psychic healer from that point. I think that the way that you act online and the things that you say about people, and when you spread lies and you energetically have hate coming and disinformation and this and that, at some point there's no way that you can move forward, because her actions speak louder than her words. And I think that in the end, she is reaping what she's sown out into the world. And so, maybe she won't stop, but, there might be certain circumstances that make her stop, or that it makes that, yeah, she keeps doing it, but her voice just is like silent. It's like her mouth is moving, but there's no words. It's like nobody hears it anymore. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And, I think that if anybody's done a reputation to their own, damage to their own reputation, it's actually Sarah herself. I mean, just to see really a lot of the people coming forward and talking about their experiences of what she's done to people. I mean, no matter how we look at it, we are a community of people. There are people that have shown up in this chat that, some of them have their own channels. Some of them, are, soldier or super soldiers themselves, or, they know the history. And there's a lot of people that have been, psychologically and emotionally damaged. I mean, like, how did this affect you psychologically in your life?
It took me to some very, I guess, dark places, kind of thing. I did sort of lock myself away last year. I think even my neighbor was worried about me because they hadn't seen me for ages. They messaged me and said, "Are you okay?" Because my neighbor's on my Facebook as well, so they know Sarah, because obviously Sarah's come and stayed with me, so my neighbors know who Sarah is. But yeah, even they were shocked about everything that's happened. It's played out on social media. I think the first sort of 6 months was quite hard for me, because basically the person, the way it's described online, is the person I knew didn't exist, because that was a mask that Sarah was wearing. So the person, I don't actually know Sarah, the real Sarah. I've never known. Well, the Sarah that you see now is probably the real Sarah. The attacks and everything, how she thinks of, what she really thinks of me is what she's put online about me. That's how she always thought about me. And that, the Sarah that I knew never existed. It was an act. That's what I find difficult to get my head around, is that it was all an act and none of it was real. Whereas for me, it was real. I did care about her. I did love her. I defended her. I spoke up for her. I, did everything a friend would do. But I was defending someone who didn't exist, basically. It's funny to describe it that way, but that is what I was doing. I was, defending someone who doesn't exist. And I cared about someone who doesn't exist. The person I cared about does not exist. That's what I'm trying to, or I have tried to get my head around. And it is difficult, and I'm still trying to figure it out. I post about all this stuff on my Facebook and my stories about narcissists and psychopaths, and what these people are like, how to identify them. I've even identified narcissists in my own family, and that's difficult for me, because I've had to distance myself from certain people in my family now because of it.
So would you say that there, at the end of the tunnel, there's like a lesson and a self-awareness, maybe in people and relationships and family dynamics and stuff like that, in that sense, maybe your experience with Sarah has opened your eyes to a different kind of perception and healing of things?
Yeah, I mean, I can see people for who they are now, more so than I, a couple of years ago. It's hard to explain, when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you're inside this bubble kind of thing, and you just believe and listen to and trust that person. You don't question anything they say because they're your friend. Why would your friend lie to you? So I believed everything she said, because she was my friend and I trusted her. But that's where the trap is they know how to manipulate you and how to use you. They know who they can manipulate and who they can't. You know, so it is, like I said, it's evil. You know, it's pure evil to play on someone's emotions, to play someone's, you know, to use someone in that way, and then to discard them like they're nothing. You know?
Was there ever a moment that you went, like, you stepped back and you went, okay, wait a second here, like this is like, did you ever see red flags, or were there red flags that you ignored and went, no, you know, like?
Yeah, people came to me all the time saying that one of my closest friends said, oh, she's mentally ill, and I sort of laughed it off, kind of thing. And there were, like, you know, red flags over the years, but this is another thing, like, narcissists always have an answer for everything. They can always explain their way out of a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they think ahead. They think 3-4 steps ahead. So they think, oh, if Taj finds out about this, I'm going to tell him this. And because of this, I'm going to say this. Because they already know that one day you might figure this out, and they know what they're going to say to explain it. And you think, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then you just move on until it happens again. Then you have an answer for the next one.
Uh-huh.
You know? Because Sarah's friendships always ended, and it was always the other person's fault every single time. It was never their fault. And then when I quit last year, the first thing I did was I unblocked every single person on Facebook that I'd ever blocked, every one of them. And then all these people started messaging me saying, this is what really happened between me and Sarah. She took money from me, or, you know, she screwed me over, or whatever. And it was all the opposite of what Sarah told me. It was always Sarah was screwing these people over, not that they were screwing her over. You know?
Yeah.
So I only found out, you know, all this stuff afterwards. And I contacted, like, ex-friends, ex-roommates, even family members. You know, I'm like best friends with Sarah's sister now. You know? It's like weird, like, you know, because, you know, we laugh and joke about Sarah, we make fun of Sarah, basically. Me and Sarah's sister, because she knows, oh, you know, obviously she's known Sarah her whole life. She knows, she gets it, right? You know, so, and
I want to ask you, like, kind of like really have one last question, I think, for you today, in terms of today and Sarah and wrapping everything up. How long, when was it that you became aware that Sarah was having an affair with Sean Stone? When did you become aware that Sarah was cheating, or, you know, stole his grandfather's gold, you know, was accusing him of the awful things she said about him and his mother? When did you become privy of those emails?
March this year. So I sat on those emails since March, basically. There's always been rumors, you know, about Sarah and Sean Stone, but nothing that you can prove. So it was only when I saw those emails that I had the proof. And it was around that time, I think we started talking around March or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's when we decided to do, you know, we've had to keep this quiet for, like, what, 2-3 months, haven't we, really? The whole
Doing the show, everything. Yeah.
Although the last few weeks I have been posting the emails to build up to the show. I've had to keep these under my hat for a few months, basically.
Yeah. Well, I really thank you for coming forward and, you know, sharing that information with me, and, you know, again, helping putting this show together. And also want to thank Vanessa Bates for being part of the 3 days, and, you know, having her wonderful family come in and tell stories about Max. And I'm hoping that a lot of the people that find this video and are aware of him and his message and his work, that they will find a value out of these shows as well. It's been great doing it with you. Is there any final thoughts that you have about everything that you want to share with the audience today?
I wanted these shows to be about Max more than anything, really. And it's been 10 years, and sometimes quotes will pop up, on my Facebook memories from Max, and because Max will share stuff with me sometimes on Facebook, and it always pops up like the same time of the year, every single year. And it was like shortly after Max died, I posted something on my Facebook, and it comes up every year. And I wanted to read this to close out the show, maybe, if that's okay with you. So I wrote this in October of 2016. I feel like I need to say something about my friend Max Spiers. I didn't know Max long, but he left an impression on my life. And I know that he has been watching me since he passed, as I have felt his presence. I'm usually very good at putting my feelings into words, but when it comes to Max, I am at a loss for words. Max's light may have been extinguished, but his spirit lives on through his family and friends. It is up to us to keep his message of love alive, and his memory will live on in our hearts and minds. The message I will always carry with me from Max is that of love and kindness towards everyone. He wanted to help the most needy. Why, you may ask? Because he saw himself in those people. That's why, and by helping those people, he was helping and healing himself. You're not forgotten, brother. See you on the other side.
Thank you for sharing that with us today, Taj. And I'd love to have you come back, because I feel like there's a lot of things that we could still unpack surrounding this world that we've been a part of. And so I hope we can do that in the future. And those of you that like these shows, please like and share, hype, create playlists, one. I like to, finish off. I'm gonna play the song that Holly Baglio likes, and the Glassborn Soldiers for the end of today. And again, thanks again for everybody being here today. God's Gladiator again posts. Where'd you go, God's Gladiator? He says peace, guys, but there was Soul and Justice. Soul and Justice. Yep. All right. Until next time, take care.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, wait. Do I not have the... Wait, here we go. Wrong one. Here we go. Bye.
Us up in white rooms, names gone, numbers sewn in, steel in the rib cage, fire under the skin. You kissed my wrist goodbye. I learned to stand still at the edge of the morning. We were made to be killed, and they said, hold on. Be the wall, be the blade, but I still hear my mother in the wires they lay. Super soldiers break my bones. Super soldiers let me go. We were built to hold the line. Now we want our own lives. Super soldiers, hear me now. Super soldiers, take the crown. If you made me from your fear, I will burn that fear down. Boots on the loading bay, rain on the concrete. We march through the sirens, with the news in our teeth. One boy from Glasgow, one girl from the coast. We looked like a war machine, but we missed home the most. And they said, smile, be the face on the screen. But my hands keep shaking for the life in between. Super soldiers break my bones. Super soldiers let me go. We were built to hold the line. Now we want our own lives. Super soldiers, hear me now. Super soldiers, take the crown. If you made me from your fear, I will burn that fear down. I was your halo of glass, your obedient stone. Now I want a warm hand, a name of my own. Keep your medals, keep